Hey, it's Vicky, and today I am back with another book haul revisit. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, this is a series that I do on my channel where I visit a book haul from years past and just sort of look and see what books I have read from that haul and which ones I haven't read. And then of the unread pile, I pick one and I put it on my next month's TBR. In the event that I have read all the books, which has happened one time, I keep all of my book haul revisit books sort of grouped together on my TBR shelf, and I will just pick one from an old book haul revisit. So today we are going back in time to June of 2021. So let's see what I bought and whether I read them or didn't. Hey guys, it's Vicky, and today I'm here with a book haul for you guys. Where have I gotten these books? Okay, one was a Mother's Day gift, so I've been sitting on it for a little bit. And then for the rest, I think, I went on a date with myself. Of course, the number one thing I like to do, anytime I'm on a date, ever, whether alone or with someone, is to go book shopping. So that's what I did. I went book shopping, and it was amazing because I could just browse all I wanted and I didn't feel rushed or have anybody awkwardly standing by me like, can we leave now? Okay. Yeah, let's get into the book haul. So the first book that I want to show you is one that I got as a Mother's Day gift from my wonderful family. They picked up I Am the Rage by Dr. Martina McGowan. This is a poetry collection, and what basically had me add this to my want to read list was I read the back, which is a poem called I Am the Rage, and I really loved the way it was structured and everything, so I wanted to check out the rest of the poems. Dr. Martina McGowan is a gynecologist, but also an activist, and yeah, this sounds like a great collection. Okay, I did actually read I Am the Rage. I think I read it last year, and I think I ended up giving it was either 3 or 4 stars. I can't quite remember, because yeah, some of the poems were super powerful. They were all about being like a Black woman in America, and yeah, they were very powerful. Some of them were pretty emotional. I really liked the way they were written. They were very straightforward and just nice. So yeah, I enjoyed that one. So yay, we're kicking it off with one I've already read. Okay, so then before I get into my stack that I got when I went on my book date with my book shopping date with myself, I picked up this book, again, the bargain bin at the grocery store. I tell you, I find some gems there, I really do. This time I found The World of Lore, Wicked Mortals by Erin Menke. This is the podcast Lore that is hosted by Erin Menke is a podcast that I have enjoyed for quite a few years. It focuses, I believe it's a bi-weekly, and it deals with all kinds of different topics dealing with folklore, but also just like anything kind of creepy or macabre. And it's a great podcast all around. Because Erin Menke's voice is great, and then there's this awesome music that accompanies the stories, and it's just really cool. So when I saw this in the bargain bin, I had to pick it up. This one, I believe, judging by the title, Wicked Mortals, it deals with real life monsters. Okay, I actually just read this book back in November. I like saved it for Nonfiction November because it deals with real life people, like I said, that did bad things, and I really enjoyed it. The way I read it was I read kind of one little story a day, like with my morning coffee, because some of them were pretty short, and yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot about some very terrible people throughout history, and it was good. So I gave it, I think, 4 stars. So there we go, another one for the red pile. All right, so the rest of the books I'm going to mention here were ones that I got when I went on my little book date with myself. So this time around I went to Barnes & Noble and Second and Charles because those are the 2 closest to me. And so first I went to Barnes & Noble. So the first one that I picked up is a book called On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. And this is I believe it has a coming of age element. It deals with a young man named Little Dog the book is told through him writing a letter to his mother who cannot read. And he was raised by her. She was a single mom, and I don't know if I believe they both immigrated to America from Vietnam. And so he grew up in America but was born in Vietnam. And it's just about him being raised by his mother. And this letter, the book is this letter that he's writing to her. And I have not read On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. But I definitely still am interested in it, want to read it, especially just recently. I want to say in the last week or two, I was watching Gabby from Gabby Reads did a vlog, and she read On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous and like loved it and was just like gushing about it and like reading passages from it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds amazing. So yeah, definitely still interested, but there is one for the unread pile. So the other one that I picked up from the buy one get one half off table, and it is called Long Division by Kiese Lehman. And this is a coming of age story, so that was what grabbed me. But what's interesting about this one is the format in which it's told. There's two stories going on. So if you look at the book, the first kind of story starts here and takes you to about the middle, and then to read the other story you have to flip the book around and read it from this way. And both stories center around a young man named Sidian Coldson, who goes by City Coldson, and he's 14 years old, and something happens. I'm not sure if it tells you. Okay, he becomes an overnight sort of YouTube celebrity because of this YouTube video that goes viral, and he, because of it, is sent to live with his grandmother in Mississippi, and this is post Hurricane Katrina. And he goes down there to live with his grandmother, and in their town there is a girl named, there is a girl named Bae Shepherd who has gone missing. And that kind of becomes some sort of element of the plot. He also, before he leaves, comes into possession of this book called Long Division that doesn't have an author. It's very mysterious, and the main character in the book is called City Coldson, which is interesting because that's his name, right? But this story takes place in 1985, so way in the past. And I guess the two stories sort of converge. I think that's what happens here where the book splits. You get both of those timelines, but in different, in a different way. Okay, I did just read Long Division in April. I think I just read it in April, March or April. And I think I ended up giving that one 3 stars because I really did like that kind of fun format. It was a more difficult book than I was expecting in terms of, I felt like some of the like themes and stuff went over my head. It's definitely a book that I want to revisit in the future because I think upon reread, there are things I will pick up on that I may have missed the first time around. It was really well written though. I loved City as a character. I thought he was great. And yeah, it was a good story. So gave that one 3 stars. And now we have another one for the red pile. So then I went over to Second and Charles. And my thing about Second and Charles is typically when I go to Second and Charles, I am looking for used books. So typically when I go to Second and Charles, my mode of attack is I always go and look at the graphic novels to see if there's any that are jumping out at me. And I always look at the little tables that they have at the front, because if they have a cool display, I'll check that out. And then I typically just am looking for certain authors when I go there, because otherwise I would be in there all day long just going through every single aisle of books. So I did pick up a few things this go around. The first stop I made was I went right to the graphic novels, and I was so excited to find that they had not only volume 7 of Saga, but volume 8 and volume 9 by Brian K. Vaughan. These are the last 3 volumes that I have to get, and they're all used. So I paid $7 for each of these. Typically they are listed at $15. And they had all 3 of them. What are the odds of that happening? So I was super geeked about that. I read all 3 volumes of Saga, like those 3 volumes. I love that series. I can't remember like individually what I rated each one. It was probably either 4 or 5 stars. I have yet to read volume 10 though. I have that on my shelves. I got it right when it came out and I don't know why I haven't read it yet, but Saga is a great series. Even if you are a little bit shy about like fantasy or sci-fi, try Saga. I was hooked right away. It's great. It's definitely for adults for sure. Some of the content is not for children, but it's got really great artwork. It's got a really cool story. I loved it. I loved it. And then I went over to the middle grade section because, as you guys know, Leia and I have been reading the middle grade series Warriors. There's a ton of books in that series, but we are focusing on the very first series that came out, which is called The Prophecy Begins or something like that. Yes, The Prophecies Begin. And we've read the first 4 books in that series. There are 6 books total. And so I was like, on a whim, let me see if they have books 5 and 6. And they did. They had books 5 and 6. So book 5 is called The Dangerous Path. I paid $3 for this one. And then book 6, The Darkest Hour, was only $1.50. And it's in like really good shape. Like I was really surprised and really happy because now Leia and I can complete this series together. Okay, so we did read book 5. And I want to say we gave it like 4 stars because Leia and I sort of rate those books together. And I don't know what it is about this series. It's a story about feral cats, right? But it gets you hooked, man. I am invested in these cats in this story. But we have not read the 6th one. But that is definitely one that we definitely want to read, need to read, because we need to complete the series. What the heck? Why haven't we done that? But yeah. Okay, so we did read one, but one of them is unread. And that means I've already hauled a lot of books in this video. We have 7 books read and 2 unread. Okay, and then the last thing I have a little story to kind of go with this last book. And I'm gonna need your guys' input as well. So, okay. When I went to Barnes & Noble, they had a small horror section. And of course I always have to check out the horror section, but it's only about a 4-foot section. And of course, in that section, half of the books are Stephen King books. It's just the way it is. Even though there are tons and tons of horror authors out there, Stephen King always dominates those shelves, right? So like half the books were Stephen King books. But then there was this other author that seemed to be taking up a lot of shelf space as well. There were quite a few books by this author, and I was like, who is this? And I'm not gonna say who it is just yet. So I looked at a couple, okay, I'm not gonna buy these. So then I go over to Second and Charles, same thing, they have a little horror table set up. Same setup, half the books are Stephen King books. But then about a quarter of the other half, so half of the other half, was this author again. And it got me thinking because I remembered Carol from Carol Marie Reads had recently read a book by this author. And I was intrigued. And the author is Darcy Coates, okay? And they're all like, the haunting of this house, the haunting of that house, the haunting, the haunting, the haunting. And there were so many, I was overwhelmed. And also like, why haven't I read any of these books? Am I missing out on something? So, on a whim, I picked one up, read the synopsis. It sounded good to me because it's a haunted house story. I love haunted house stories. And so yeah, I picked up The Haunting of Gillespie House by Darcy Coates. And this was just basically about a girl who moves into an old haunted mansion and horror ensues. But like I said, there's so many books that are literally The Haunting of blank house by this author. And so my question to you all is, have I been living under a rock and I've been missing out on some good horror? Or what's with all these Darcy Coates books? Am I missing out? Did I make a mistake in buying this book? Because I did pay full price for this because I did want to try it out. Okay, I did read The Haunting of Gillespie House, and I think the actual story, like the Haunting of Gillespie House, I think I gave that 3 stars. It was good, it was entertaining, it was a little bit predictable in a sense. Her stuff isn't necessarily super creepy, at least that book wasn't, but I still enjoyed myself. It was entertaining. But at the end of that book, there were a couple of short stories that she included also, and I thought those were way better than the actual Haunting of Gillespie House. Sorry if you can hear people weed whacking outside. But anyways, the short stuff at the end, I think I gave, there was like maybe like 3 stories at the end. I gave them like, I know I gave one of them 5 stars. It blew my mind. It was amazing. Super creepy, super great. So I haven't read any Darcy Coates since, but I definitely want to read more of her stuff because I did enjoy it. I thought they were fun. So, okay. That's now 8 read and 2 unread. Okay, so the 2 unread books from this haul were Ocean Vuong's On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous and Aaron Hunter's The Darkest Hour, which is the 6th book in the Warrior series, the first series, which is The Prophecies Begin. So, I think you guys already know how this is gonna go. This one, I actually had to go upstairs and find it in Leia's room because she keeps these books. This is a book that I definitely want to read with Leia. Since we've read the entire series together, I don't want to read this without her. And we are currently reading one of the Lemony Snicket books, The Wide Window, the 3rd book in the series of Unfortunate Events. So I'm gonna save this one for a later date for her and I to read. Because yeah, I can't believe we haven't finished the series. We were so into this series for a while and it's kind of slowed down a little bit. So that means I'm gonna read On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, which I'm so excited to read, honestly, because like I said, I've heard nothing but good things about this. I've heard that the writing is just absolutely stunning. So I'm excited to dive into this. It ticks some boxes for me. It seems like it has coming of age stuff, good writing, maybe a little hard hitting, which I do like from time to time. So this is it, guys. This is what is gonna go on my, wow, July. We're already talking about July? That's so weird. This is gonna go on my July TBR. All right, guys, so there it is, my book haul revisit from June 2021. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them. And if you've read this one, I wanna know what you thought of it. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this and I hope that you're having a good week and I will talk with you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.